Are you living in a castle? Actually, more like a fortress? Hello from Puerto Rico. I'm Dolores Hirschman from mastersinclarity.com, and I'm actually in a little kind of hiding place in the Castillo San Felipe del Morro, which is a fortress, and that was built in the 1500s as Puerto Rico was settled. And it was built to protect the island from incoming danger. I'm actually going to show you. See the water right behind me, and I'm in a kind of hiding place or watching place, right? And this fortress, was to protect the island from any incoming danger, and someone would stand here and watch day and night to discern whether the oncoming boats, oncoming ships, were friendly ships or danger ships, right? That would bring danger to the island. So I started thinking about about our own internal castles or fortress, if you want, and how we kind of protect ourselves from danger or from perceived danger. And one of the things I started to think about, how many times do we not allow or do we stop ideas or conversations or engagements with people because we're afraid? And maybe out of habit or because we are not even conscious of we're doing this, we kind of stop in engaging in certain conversations, and we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to explore because for whatever reason we feel danger or it triggers a perception of danger. So I want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about our castles, our fortresses that we construct, and that it becomes the places we stay, and they show up in the way we behave and in the way we communicate. I see this a lot when I'm working with executives or speakers or even entrepreneurs. So I want to break it down to 3 parts, as I always do, of understanding when are we stopping ourselves from engaging in a deeper, more in a rich conversation. So step or tip number 1 is, are you clear on your fears? What I mean by this is, what are you really, really, really afraid of? Some of those fears can come from a history of or experiences that we've had as an adult, or maybe even as a child. There's a lot of research done that a lot of our fears come from the first 7 years of our life, that we kind of encounter these fears and we hold on to them almost for the rest of our lives. And without the awareness of what these fears are, we actually tend to behave from a place of protecting ourselves from that. So it could be something like you were bullied as a child and you have a fear of being judged, or you had a difficult childhood, right? And you have a fear of abandonment or not belonging or never being good enough, right? These are all kind of fears that we all have some level of this, but if they go unchecked, they actually run our conversations, they run our behavior, and ultimately they run our life. So step number 1 is, what are you afraid of? At the end of the day, what is it that is your biggest nightmare or your biggest fear? Step number 2, what triggers this feeling? What triggers this fear? I remember, this is a personal story, when my husband lost his job, I have a fear of not good enough or not enough, right? And I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to support a family. I'm not good enough or not strong enough, or I don't have what it takes, right? And it was something that it has always been there, but when he lost his job and a lot of more financial responsibility came on me, it was eye-opening how much I was operating from that place and how much that had been a trigger for that fear to activate. So I wanted to make a list of experiences in your life. It could be personal experience, work-related experience, but it can be very small, like, I don't know, getting stopped by the police because, you were going too fast, or you went past. I remember I used to be scared of being stopped by the police. I don't know why, but whenever I got stopped because I don't know, missed a light or something, I would be really, really, really scared. So just make a list of every situation you've been in that you recognize that it was a trigger for a deeper fear. That maybe you were reacting in a much more intense way than the situation would call for. And that is a trigger that tapped into a fear. So go ahead and make that list. And step number 3, I want you to look into the way you communicate and ask yourself, what are words or what are moments when I'm unconsciously moving away from conversations or not willing to go deeper. One of the things that a coach does, and obviously with permission from the client, is engage in deeper conversations. And when I first start working with a client, I say to them, you know, do I have permission to interrupt? Do I have permission to get curious? And do I have permission to go kind of digging, right? To go to the bottom of thinking patterns, to go to behind the story and understand what is driving that behavior or that story. And so ask yourself, when are you kind of sneaking away from those conversations? And if you've ever worked with a coach, ask yourself how much that has helped you go deeper. Because the truth is that our behaviors are hidden behind our experiences and our stories. And how things turn out are 100% ruled by who is in charge. Is our fear in charge of our behavior and our conversations, or is it our kind of more empowered self driving those conversations? So I just want you to look into that and start discerning what ship that's coming your way is actual danger and which one is maybe an opportunity that you're missing because you're just looking at it from the place of fear. I'm going to continue walking this beautiful, beautiful site, historic site. I'm actually going to walk out a little bit here so I can show you. Now you can see behind me. I'm going to continue with my day, and I wish you a wonderful, productive rest of your day.